everybody, and welcome. This is Marcie Besecker, and I am here live on my YouTube channel. It's Sunday at noon. Welcome, welcome everybody. I'm really excited to share this card with you today. I've got some fun techniques. Okay, I'm also getting on my phone here. Hi Sally, Barbara, Linda, and Monica. Welcome. So I have a really fun card, and it's a new card, some new product here. So this is it right here, and if you can see all the pretty bling on there. As soon as I saw these stones, it comes with the Evening Garden. That was a weird shadow, huh? Oh, that was weird. So hi to Shauna, Terrian, Virginia, and Chris, I'm guessing it's Crystal. Hello. And so what I wanted to do is, when I saw these gems, I saw the colors in it which to me was like a pull party and a purple and a blue. And so I wanted to create a card that had those colors in it to add some sparkle. I mean, you can't even really, I mean, in person it is so pretty. But so I decided to put them on the flowers just to kind of make you draw your attention to that with the bird. And I liked this little nest looking fur there in the background, the little fringe. And I'll show you how I did that. There is a trick to that because otherwise it will just fall apart and come off your card. So I will show you that. Hi everybody, welcome, welcome. Is the Stampin' Cut the best? Hi, Carol. They are sparkly. They're so pretty. So I want to show you that today, but I'm also going to talk a little bit about the Scan and Cut, because I've had the Cricut, and then I went to the Silhouette, and then I decided on the Scan and Cut because as a stamper and somebody who loves dies, to me that's what works for me the best, because I really just want to cut if I'm doing a mass production. I'm not going to pull my Scan and Cut out, but I'm going to show you. I have a lot of little samples here, and I'm going to explain how I did it. Okay, and what I do, and I'm going to also show you a little trick with the punch also, and especially when you're doing mass production. Hi Diane, Mary, Bonnie, Judith, Carmen, and Terry. Hello everybody. So what we're going to do is create this card, but I'm going to kind of go over my process and you'll see how I did it. I haven't created a lot of them yet. I've only done the one, but I will be doing more. And so I will give you an idea of how I do it. And I hope it will help you kind of see, you know, to make it a little easier. And this works with the punch also. So I will show you that. And I've kind of touched on it and did it on some of my cards. And I've done it on some of my videos, but I'm going to explain it a little bit more today. First thing I want to say is I do have my host code up. I would love your orders. If you need anything, please let me know. Everything is listed below other than the new items because they are not available to customers yet. But I did write the description on what they are and the item number. And I also put they'll be available January 4th. I was asked to use some new product today, and I've also been asked to kind of explain the Scan and Cut a little bit more, so I kind of combined the classes together. So that being said, really quickly, bingo for December is coming, and I'll mention it again later and go over it a little bit more, but it's on my blog. You can sign up. If you can't pay now, that's not a problem. In the notes section, just say I will pay closer to the event. And that way I don't say, oh, are you having trouble paying? This is what you do. Just let me know. And then that way that's perfectly fine. But it kind of gives me a heads up how many kits to create and that kind of thing. So I like it if everybody could pay 5 days prior and be subscribed and everything's good so I can start making the kits. Because I really like to get them out to you as soon as possible and have them get out. I don't mind you signing up day of because I will have a few extra kits usually. But I'm deciding to go back down to about 5 extra kits, which are usually sold before the event, because I'm ending up with extras. So you can always go onto my blog and under shop, you could go to bingos and they are listed there. So if you've seen a bingo and you wish you would have participated because you like the kits, I have a lot of miscellaneous kits from different months. So if I have them available, they'll be listed there. So I hope that helps. Thanks for sharing, Becky. I appreciate it. Hi, Gloria. Hi, Roxanne, Carol, Karen, Linda. How is everybody? Oh, I'm excited. My husband brought all my Christmas stuff in. Our trees went up yesterday. They're just bare lights. That's it. But now I have a lot of boxes in my living room. So guess what I'm doing today and tomorrow? Yay. Our lights on our house are up, so that's good. Oh, let's see what else. The new front of the catalog. I'm sure you guys have seen it. It is an amazing catalog. I am really, really happy with it. So, and then our Sale-a-bration, which is where our products came from today. They are in Sale-a-bration. Okay, so if you have $100 in orders in January, you can get this stamp set. Look how cute that is. And I've already cut up some paper, and this is two-sided. This one is the Friendly Hello, so I'll show it to you quickly, and then we are going to get started. So this is the Friendly Hello paper. This is the daffodil paper. So they're sharing spots, sharing cases right now. Again, Stampin' Up! Did not disappoint. The paper is so pretty. So let me just kind of fan some of it out for you. Look at that. There's some Hawaiian stuff in our new catalog. So I'm looking at that nice bright green. So pretty. So there's the one side. If you can see it. And then you turn it over. And again, more neutral type things. Just leaves. This one has what we're using today, which is on the back side of the colorful paper. But look at this. They're just like little scribbly circles, like little dots. I love this stripe. I mean, that is so pretty. And I was just thinking, I'm going to take this out because I have another project I'm already thinking about. And I was going to look for a paper, and I'm loving that one. Okay. So, but look how pretty that is. I mean, they're so neutral that you could use them for anything. And that's what I'm going to do with this one. So anyway, really fun, pretty paper. While I'm here, I guess I'll show you this one real quick. We're not using this today, but this is the daffodil. It's kind of has a, I don't know, not an antique-ish look to it, but it's a little softer, I guess. So these are those papers. Okay, really pretty. But look at, again, the back side. I'm using this one right now on a project, but look how cute. I love that these are just, you can use them for anything. Love, love, love. Okay, so here we go. Taking a break from doing HR. Oh yay, Mary. Okay, so let's get busy. We have a lot to show you today. So this is the paper that we're using, and my other project I'm working on is sliding all over. Now I'm going to show you also a little bit of how I did it with the punch too, so you can kind of get an idea. I changed my light from above me to the on the side, and I'm noticing I'm getting more shadow, so I'm going to move this back up because I don't like the shadows, so hopefully it's less shadow this way. Okay, do you always cut your DSP? You know, Gloria, I cut one package, I cut down, and I cut it to the 4 by 6. Okay, so they're 12 by 12, so I cut it 6 and then 4 and 4. So I get 6 pieces to 1, okay? So if I have a 12 by 12, I cut it, I look at the directions of the paper, and then I cut it 6. So that's sliding it all the way in your trimmer. And then I do 4 and 4. So I have 6 pieces. And then when you pull your paper out, like we're going to do on this card, you pull your paper out and it's going to be 4 by 6. Okay. I only want 5 1/4 for the front of my card. So this will go on the inside of my card. So I find that by doing this, and this was by Kylie Bertrucci, she calls it Love It, Chop It. And so when I saw her video about Love It, Chop It, I have to say, I use DSP way more because you can just pull this out just like I did a minute ago, and you can just be like, oh, I'm going to use this paper. And you don't have to cut it all and pull it out and get it out of the plastic, which I switched over to the Stampin' Storage sleeves, which I love. But you can just pull out a piece and it's ready to go. You don't have to bring out that whole thing and get it out of the plastic and cut it, put it all back in. It's so much easier. And then I have wooden cases that I put them in, and I put the name of it. This is my Sale-a-bration. These are the two names. This pops right back off when I package this up if I have leftovers, and my next catalog papers can go in here. So, of course, these cases are no longer available, but if you can find something like those, it's amazing. So I highly recommend it. So yes, I cut one and I leave one not cut just in case I need more, or if I'm doing a 3D project or something. So I hope that makes sense. Okay, so I'm going to explain a little bit about how I get my die cut pieces first with the scan and cut. So what I do is I'm going to take a piece of paper. Katie, we are just starting the project. Oh, Jewel, how exciting. We were just starting. I kind of went over some little bits and bingo and stuff like that. Bingo is going to be really fun this month. I'm going to tell you that if you play bingo this month, it is Christmas. Christmas means presents. That's all I'm going to say. So you'll get a little something, something in your package. Okay, so here we go. We're going to ink up our bird here. And what I do is I stamp it. Okay. And these stamp so nicely. Okay, then we're going to ink up our flowers. So this is what I do when I'm starting a project if I'm doing mass production. And then I'm going to take my flowers and I'm going to stamp them here. Okay. All right, so there are our two images that we're going to be needing for our project. Hello, if you cut half a pack of DSP the same way, they will fit in the standard Stampin' Up kit. Yes, they will. You are correct. So if you wanted to and you have some extras, you can purchase these cases. And this is the one I'm going to show you something in a minute. You can put a half in there. That's right, Tashana. So it's a wonderful idea. You will use it more, I promise, because I didn't think I would, but I do. Okay, so when you're using your scan and cut, you are going to need solid images all the way around. So I'm going to bring this in just a little bit for right now. If it's getting too close and you need it backed up, let me know. So what you want to do is take a pencil, and mine is just on its last little tiny piece of lead. Like, seriously, it's like this long, so hopefully it'll last. And it's going inside. Okay, and you want to just close in all your gaps. Even these little tiny pieces right here, you want to make sure that it touches a line. Okay, because otherwise your scan and cut's going to come inside and it's going to cut inside your flower and be all goofy, and you don't want that. So just go around with a pencil and just fill in all your gaps. And it doesn't have to be perfect. That's where it's going to cut. And I like to have that 0.4 little spacing. If you have a scan and cut, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, I'm going to show you another option with punches that I kind of do the same thing. Then you're going to just close everything. So I just go around and close everything up. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be closed. So you're going to go around and just kind of draw like where, if it were closed, where would the line be? Even if it's a little tiny stitch like this, you need to close that up, okay? So I'm closing, I think everything, oh, I'm back over here. Closing, even all the way up here in the branch. I want to make sure it's closed. Okay, so everything's closed. So now what I do is when you go to your Scan and Cut, I scan it in. Okay, so I'm going to scan it like I'm going to cut it. And then I make it to where it's got the 0.4, right? So your 0.4 gives you that little bit of, it's going to cut on the outside and give you that little white space, okay, on the outside. Not as beautiful as this, of course. So then once you scan it and you cut it, you're going to have a template like this. Okay, so you'll get a template like this, and I write template and I set this aside. This has my 0.4 on the outside, so it has my spacing. This is my template I'm going to use. So we'll set that aside for right now. The next thing I do is I bring in, and I'm just going to use the birds here that I did, and I stamp all my birds on here, okay, or my flowers, whatever your image is. Stamp them all on a full sheet, okay? Then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to scan it in, you're going to do your 0.4, and you're going to cut it up, okay? We're going to be over the Scan and Cut in a minute, so if you guys don't have a Scan and Cut, hang tight. We're going to go onto a punch, the same kind of idea, all right? And then we'll get making the card. So you're going to cut out your pieces, and then you're going to have your pieces like these. So you'll have all your birds cut out, okay, like this. You're going to have the white space in here because if you don't, which I have one here somewhere, I thought. If you don't, that means your 0.4 is not working. So this one, for example, I didn't do 0.4, but there's a reason you don't want to do this, and I'll explain it in a minute. It does cut this out for you, but with what word, and if you are stamping them and you're cutting them out, then you can do that. Go ahead and take that out if you want, and you don't want the 0.4. Okay, but I do mine like this with the 0.4, and I'll show you why. But when you bring this back out and it's all cut, you're going to throw this away. Then you're going to take a new sheet of paper and put it on your Scan and Cut mat, and you're going to run it back through, okay? And you're going to cut again. There are no images on there, but you're going to get all of your bird, oh, that's a flower, all of your bird images like this, okay? So now, and you can make as many sheets as you want. I just did one extra sheet. So I have my first one that was stamped, and then I have these, okay? Now what we're gonna do is, I have the same thing for the flowers. Okay, so we'll show you on that because I can explain it a little bit because I have another one over here. So now what you're gonna do is you're going to bring in, you have all this cut now. You are going to bring in your Stamparatus. And you are going to, let me put an ink pad here. Okay. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take your template, and you're going to put it down. And you could do your flowers and your bird at the same time. Totally up to you. But I'm going to do my flowers just for sake of showing you. Now, if you do not put your 0.4 around when you're cutting, then this is what's going to happen. See how your flower has all that moving space, right? So you don't want that. You want to do your 0.4 so you can take your white images that you cut, this one, and you're going to set it right inside just like that. Okay, so before you do that, let's clean off our flower stamp. So we're done with the Stamparatus. We're done with stamping these. So let me just clean this off. I do too, Lorna. And then you take your image, and I'm going to lay it down and just kind of align it. Now remember, it's going to be in the center because you're going to have that little bit of white space, and if it's not exact, it's okay. at least it's stamping within your image. So just kind of check all your corners, and my head's not above it, so we're just going to pretend it's perfect, right? And we're going to close our Stamparatus. We're now going to take this and put it in there. We're going to ink up our image, and we are going to stamp. And I got this cute little thing here, so we're just going to do that and pull it off. Boom. Next one. Take your next one, put it in, make sure it's right side up because it's the only way it's going to fit. All right, we're going to take our ink again. And we're going to do this. And there it is. I like to have my pokey tool right here, and I just poke it out. Okay, do you see how easy this is? You can just put your next one in. So this is how I do it. Instead of stamping them all, instead of coloring in the edges of them all, okay, make sure it's down in there, then you don't have to do that. You just have your white ones, okay, and you just stick them in there. But look how pretty they come out. So they're perfect every time. Same with the bird. Do that every time. Now, without your 0.4 again, you're putting in a piece that's too small. So, I mean, you can make it work if that's what you prefer. Take your piece, put it in there. You're going to kind of just set it there in the middle and hope for the best. You could probably put like a little glue dot below there. I've done that before. And you can close it. And so it can work. See how your lines, you can get it right on your lines. I prefer it not on the lines exactly, but you can do it that way if you want. Okay, so there's how I do that. Now, same thing. Let me put all these back up. And then what I do is inside my stamp case or with my dies or whatever, I just have a pouch, and there's the colored ones in there that I scanned first. And then there's a sheet of white of each. Now with your punch, it's really the same thing. And I think I've showed this on a video, I'm sure, before. Let me take this off. You are going to take this off. And you'll have a piece of paper here. And now you're going to use your punch. All right, so let's just say we're going to go right here and punch. All right, and now imagine you have your punch and you're just going to punch a bunch of white paper, a whole bunch of white paper. And now you're going to put your punch in here. You are going to take your stamp, same thing as you did with your other. You're going to put your ice cream on here. And depending on what kind of paper, you could put your little cone here, or let's just say you're using like cinnamon cider ribbon and you just want to put your hashtags on there or whatever you want. So what I would do is put your ice cream. So get it on there where your little holes are. So we're going to put that one there. Okay. I can't, again, my head's not directly over it, so I can't tell if it's straight. And now remember, this is a punch. This is not a die cut or a scan cut, so it's going to be not that 0.4 around it. You want to get your other plate and get your other plate on. Oh, let me move this. I don't need my keyboard. And now we're going to do our hashtags. And we're going to put that on. Okay, now imagine I've got inks out because I know I want to get to the project, but we're going to put that here. We're going to put your cone here, and now you've got a whole stack of ice creams, right? So just get them in there, and if it doesn't fit exactly, turn it over. It might be that it goes in this way. There we go. And now you're going to stamp your ice cream color and then your cone. Okay, or you can just keep doing your cones or whatever. So it's totally up to you. But this is the way I like to do it instead of stamping and die cut and punch or, you know, over and over. If you're doing a lot, like I did my Dahlia on my Christmas card. So I showed you guys this card and that I did it with the scan and cut. So this one, you can see it's a tiny bit off because you've got a lot of little pieces here. And so my Dahlia might have moved a little bit, but I did my Dahlias, my leaves, and my flowers all on the scan and cut. Everything else I die cut because these didn't have dies, number one. These I die cut because I do like the image to go downward. So I hope that makes sense to you. Anyway, that's how I did it. A lot of people were asking me, so I thought, well, I'm going to combine this video with that information so that would help you kind of understand. So does anybody have any questions? I believe I got mine from Amazon. I think they had a special where you got like an extra package or some extra something with it. I don't remember. But there's all kinds of like memory cards and like Wi-Fi stuff and that you can get with it. But I don't hook mine up to anything. I just do it right on the screen. But now that I have a monitor in my room, I may try to switch it so I can see it on the monitor instead of the little screen because it would be much bigger, which would be helpful. Yeah, I wasn't a big Cricut fan. Let's see. Hi, Sharon, Lori. I'm sure I missed a few. Hi, everybody. Okay, so let's get busy. So what I did is I pulled out the Fresh Freesia. I wanted to match up these gems right here, the garden gems, and these are available. So this is 2 packs here I've been using. So if you guys got my thank you card not too long ago, you got a bunch of these on it. But see how they're kind of like a blue, purple, and like a pool party kind of color. And I just loved them. So I wanted to choose something that would show those off. So I decided with Fresh Freesia, we're going to use this for our sentiment. I've already cut this piece down here, which comes from the Friendly Hello paper. You will get this paper, the Friendly Hello, and the Friendly Hello stamp set. It comes as a bundle in the Sale-a-bration. Okay, so it is a Sale-a-bration item. So that's the $100 item. So you can get that. All right, so we're going to set this aside. We're going to set our sentiment aside for now. I also used this white, I think it's called white frayed, yeah, frayed ribbon. It's 3/4 of an inch. It's so soft. It's very, very nice. It's a little thicker than what I like, but I did this. You'll notice in the picture that this is up a little bit, and I wanted it to bring it down, so I did after the fact, and I like it much better down. So this ribbon, I'm going to show you how I created and did this. I wanted it to kind of give it a little bit of a nest effect, and so I thought that was just kind of fun. And so I'll show you how to do that. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start coloring. So we're going to do a little bit of coloring. I'm going to bring in one of my flowers, and I'll do it as quickly as I can so I can get to the other fun tips and techniques as soon as I can find myself a bird. Okay, so because I did the 0.4 around, I'm going to cut that middle part off. Hope you got my email. I did, Jan. And all of the bingo and prizes went out on, I want to say Thursday. So they will be coming. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right around like I normally would fussy cut. And I'm just going to kind of leave a little bit of white, but not too much. And just kind of go right along. Go right to the beak and cut. So there is a space in there. Like I said, if you want that space cut out, then you won't do the 0.4. It'll go right around the line. So, okay. So now what I did is I'm going to bring in, oh, let's see. I need to open, actually, my new small grid paper. I just ordered several more, and then I found like 3 of them in my drawer. So I did clean a whole section of my office. It was quite shocking, and it feels so good to have that part done. Now I just need to get to the other part. Ooh. Slowly, slowly. All right. So this is how you open it. And I'm going to pull one out. I usually just take this off, actually, so we're just going to do that. And I like to do that. Okay. So what I did is I brought in some colors. They're all listed below, so I'll tell you what I'm using as I go. So for the first color I'm going to bring in is going to be the light fresh freesia. That's one of the colors that's in the paper. So I tried to make sure I used some of those colors to kind of tie that in. I'm going to use the little line side. My light keeps hitting me in the head. Okay, so then I just went down the lines, and it doesn't have to be super neat or anything. I just try to go down the center where the lines are. You guys know I've told you I am no expert color person for sure, but it's fun. Sometimes I'm like, oh, that turned out really good. And other times I'm like, oh, gee, what was I thinking? Either those colors don't go well or I just don't like them, whatever. Okay, so then I took the light and navy, and I just went down the side, down the centers. And you can use the dark balmy blue if you want. I mean, there's all different colors you can use. And I may have used the lighter one, but it'll work out because we're gonna be blending on top of that quite a bit. And I just kind of went over the same, but you can still see the purple. Okay, so that's what I did. Now we're gonna bring in our pool party, and I'm going to take the darker one and just kind of go around the outside, just kind of give it a little bit of darker colors and just go around the outside. This is going to help because we're going to blend the colors and we're going to go inward with the lighter color. And sometimes, you know, you might start out with the lighter color and then end up going with the darker color, or, you know, you just layer it and it'll just kind of make the colors that you want. It'll work out. And you can always blend a little more. Let it dry a little bit. You don't want it to get too wet and saturate. And this is one of the ones that had the pencil on it. You can go back and erase that if you want. To me, it didn't really matter. I'm going to be coloring right over these anyway. But if you want that look to where the coloring's off, you can do that. All right, so there's that. Now I'm going to go inside a little with the dark. So it adds just a little bit there. Okay, so we're just going to go in a little bit with the dark. And to me, I just kind of think, okay, this is where a shadow would be, so I'll make it a little darker. But like I said, I am no expert. Sometimes I get to it and go, oh, why did I do that? Or why did I choose that color? Like right now, I should have used a little bit of a lighter. I think what I used is the dark balmy blue is what I used. But don't worry about it. It's going to be fine. All right, so I'm going to come out a little bit more here. Okay, so there we go. And if they're a little more pronounced, that's fine too. So I'm not worried about it. All right, so now we're going to do the light. And I still use the little tip. I just feel like I have more control over it. And I'm just going to go inward. And not super dark. Just go inward. And if there's some white, that's okay. And I like to just do the like little strokes right here, just so it adds just like a little bit of texture. And it will kind of spread out just a little bit, and you're going to get that the edges kind of blended in. Okay, and we'll go over the centers in a minute. I want to do the outside so it doesn't bleed outward. And so that's why I come in. And I want them a little bit lighter on the outside. So what's nice is you don't have to be exact. Thanks, Becky. All right, so there we go. And now I kind of come back in to where the centers are. And I just go over it a little bit, just to blend it a little. It's already kind of blending with the other colors that you added. Okay, so I'm just kind of going over them. And you can tell I'm not being super neat about it. I'm just kind of scribbling. But I'm going inward. Okay, so to me, that's fine. It adds a little more than the other one. But I want a little more purple. So now I'm going to come back in with the purple. And I'm just going to add some more. And I'm just going to go along the lines, see, of the blue. And they can go a little longer, a little wider. You just want to see the purple. Okay, so don't worry if you go in there and go, oh man, my purple's gone, or go back in. Add a little bit more. See the difference now? Is this close enough for you guys? I don't want to get too close and it get blurry, but I could probably go a little closer for you. Okay. If that's too close, let me know. So then I'm just going to go back in and just add my purple. And because this paper is fairly wet from just going back over it again with the light balmy or the light pull party, it's still going to like absorb that a little bit. So it's not going to be super harsh lines. Okay, so I'm good with that. Now I'm going to take the light and dark daffodil. And we're going to start with the dark. Is this better, Betty? This close is okay? I'm afraid if I go too close, it gets really blurry. And then you take the dark, and I just kind of dot the middle a little bit. Just add a little bit of depth there. And then you're going to take the lighter one and just kind of go. And I just do little circular motions. Just kind of fill it in. And it, like I said, if there's a little bit of white, it's not a big deal. All right, now we're going to bring our bird in, and we're going to do the same thing on the flowers. So let's just quickly do it. It's no time at all. These are so tiny. All right, so just kind of go. And now you know your colors, what you want to use. So that was the light Fresh Freesia. And this time I'll I'm still going to do the light Night of Navy, but I'm going to do a lot less little marks. Okay, but it's there. Now we're going to take the dark Pull Party and go around the outside. You want them to look kind of, you know, the same. They're the same flower. I'm kind of doing it quickly, but really, this is, I mean, you could do it just like this. So I go around the outside. Okay. Yeah, if it's ever too far, you guys, and you need it closer, just let me know. All right, we're going to bring this in, and I'm going to bring it all the way down because these flowers are little. And on these, I came up in the middle and added a little bit of color. And so we're just going to do the light and kind of go around it a little bit, blend them a little. So I want to make sure I go blend over the middles too. All right, so little ones are a little darker. They're a lot smaller, so I'm fine with that. Again, your dark Daffodil Delight, just kind of pounce a little bit in there. And you can't really see on video, and actually the small ones are even harder to see, but you can see that there is a difference with a little bit of depth. Okay, so there we go. Now for the bird, what I did is I did the Daffodil Delight again. And I did, let's do the light first. And what I did is I just kind of drew a line right here. And then I just drew a line coming down right here. And so I'm going to fill this in. And this is his tummy. Okay, and then we're going to take the dark and we're just going to add some little hash marks, like just some little, you know, like it looks like feathers, like he's got a little bit of a different color on his tummy, right? And then I took the light soft suede and I just did, just so lightly, some little speckles on his stomach towards the bottom. All right. And then you're going to take the light again, and I just kind of blended over that a little bit. Okay, so it's all in just however you want to do it. So now I took the dark Night of Navy and I went over the lines. Just kind of go over the outline, all the little feathers. You're just adding a little more interest, a little more character here on your bird. All right. Oh, you know what I did too, before I forget? I took the dark, but I think I'm going to switch it to the light Granny Apple Green. And I just, because when I stamped this, the leaves came out black. If you wanted to, you could do it on a Stamparatus, and then you could color the leaves separately, like with your markers, your Stampin' markers, and make it whatever color you want. But since I did it all black, I'm just going to go ahead and go through with a light green color. So I chose the light Granny Apple Green, so you're adding some color to your leaves, okay? Okay, now I'm going to take my Balmy Blue and I'm going to start with my light, and I'm just going to kind of fill my bird in a little bit. And the face for sure. And if you do the little strokes, you can't, there is a difference, you can tell if you just do the little, it just adds a little bit instead of doing big like coloring streaks. And I'm just going to do that smooth right there. Okay, so now you can see that. And now I'm going to go in with the dark Balmy Blue. And we're just going to fill this in a little bit. Okay, we're going to leave his face kind of light. We're kind of going backwards. I'm doing lighter to darker, but then I'll finish it up with the light to blend it. So now we're doing the light Night of Navy. And I'm just adding a little bit of lines in here. And they're going to come out different every time, right? Because, and I'm going to do little specks up here. Just to add a little more character, add some little specks. Okay. I'm going to come down on his forehead just a little bit. And then I'm going to do the light balmy again. And just blend it a little. It's going to come out different every time. And I'm just going to do little speckles on his face. All right, so I'm good with him like that. I'm going to make him a little more bold because our flowers are a little more bold. And then I'm going to take Soft Suede, our last color. I am going to go in with the light one first. Thanks, Sally. Are you guys saying you need it closer or you like it closer? I hope it's not too blurry for you. On my screen it looks a little blurry, but... Okay, so we're just going to do the light. I did Soft Suede. I just think it's a brighter, cheerful brown. If I do it too dark, then it just looks like a big old stick, and I'd rather have a little bit of character. Now here's the dark. I'm going to come in a little bit right here where the flowers are, and just add a little bit here and there, just kind of like that. I don't know if you can see, adding that little darker on the branch just kind of gives it a little bit of character. Okay, so there we go. We're done with that. Yay. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to add some of our new ribbon. And so what I want to do is I'm just going to kind of go across, use my ribbon scissors. And they're my ribbon scissors because they're nice and sharp and they cut nicely. My other ones have been cutting everything. Now what I like to do is take your white liner and you're going to pull it about right here. And I just put it right down the middle. And now get your paper, align it. And kind of decide, I'm going to do the same here, so I'm going to cheat and do it this way, but just kind of decide on where you want your bird at. So I forgot I need to take this off. Thanks, you guys. I would really appreciate it if you guys would like my video. If you're finding anything helpful or you are liking the video, if you can do a thumbs up for me, I'd really appreciate it. The algorithm on YouTube, you know how they are. They love attention to your videos, comments after the fact. They really look at after, not so much on the lives, but after the fact. They love it. All right, I'm going to go right here on this line. I hope my head's not in the way. All right, and then we're going to go. Don't look at this pretty paper we're using on the back because we won't see it. All right, so there's that. Now our paper's there. We're going to bring in this. So I cut half of this. I used half of it yesterday on here, and then we're going to use half today. So we've got that. So we'll do that in a minute. So we can go ahead and adhere this down, and I'm going to use our seal, and I do go over the ribbon because it will just adhere right onto the paper. Missed a piece. Okay. Do you have your tape on a cutter? Oh, I'll show you. Hold on one second. So I have this cutter. I got it at a scrapbook expo years and years and years and years ago. And you just put it on like this, and you just snap it, and it's the different, oops, I'm sorry, I forgot we're zoomed in. And so it has like a little hook right there for different widths of tape, and then you can cut it. Luckily, ours is really easy to just tear, which is why it's called tear and tape. But yeah, I've used this for a long time, and I do recommend them. They're very nice. Thank you, Carol. Thanks, Terry. I appreciate it. All right, so we're going to get to this in a minute. So let's go ahead and let's do our sentiment really quickly. So for our sentiment, what I did is hope you have the best birthday, because we can always use birthday cards, right? So we're just going to ink it up. We're going to put it right about here. Let's see. We're going to use our banner punch here. So I want to put this, and I'm looking at the line at the bottom where my happy birthday, my best birthday, it's nice and straight, so that's where I'm looking. So I can make sure that it's straight there. Okay. Now this is always the fun part, because this is one of my scraps that I got out of my little scrap bucket. I've showed you guys before, this little scrap bucket. I'm going to zoom the camera out now because I don't think you guys need it that close. And when I'm trying to show you stuff, I feel like I'm way out of screen. Okay. So what we're going to do is I want to choose this little banner here. So we are going to turn this upside down. I'm going to do it right-handed and put our little banner in and make sure it's kind of in the middle of where we're at and punch. Okay, so it's nice and close to my sentiment there. So now we're going to take this one and we're going to, what I like to do is do this. So take an eyeball, look at it and say, okay, so that's, you know, about one square is about what it's going to be. So when I look at this, I want to cut it right about there. So I'm going to bring this in and cut right about here. So hopefully we'll put this one in this way. Bring it in, get it centered the best you can here, and hopefully it comes out fairly even. So just kind of get an idea. Cut your first one, make sure that's the width you want, and then kind of check and see where the other one is and give it a cut over here. Marcie, are the cutters listed in your supply? They are not. They're not from Stampin' Up, but I will get the information for you and I will post it at the bottom of this video when I get the link. Because I did just find the lady, well, I don't know if it's the same lady, but it's exactly the same product. So I will get that for you. Okay, so we're going to take a strip of our fresh freesia and we're going to do the same thing. I measured it. It's just a tad bit bigger. Okay, so when I did this one, I measured my scrap that I had, and then I went in and I did this just a little bit bigger. So like an 1/8 of an inch bigger. Okay. So there's that one. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to lay this on here, and I want just about that much. This is so not like, I don't measure this. I just kind of eyeball it. So I want to make sure that I take the purple again. And this is like not the way I'm sure that you're supposed to do it, but that's how I do it. And it's about 2 squares, a little less than 2 squares. And then I can center this. So if it's a little less than, it's going to go right about there. I'm going to cut that. And if it's a little bit less, it doesn't really matter because I'm just going to center my sentiment on this, right? So it doesn't have to be exact. So we're going to put it in. Make sure that's about even. I think I need to move it over a little bit. Okay. Okay, and now this, hopefully, will go right on top. And I can just move it over a smidge so now it looks centered enough. And that's how I do it. So I hope, I'm sure there's some other fabulous, fantastic way to do that. And you can measure your stuff out, but that's how I do it. And it works fine for me. All right, so we're going to put our sentiment on here. Now what I do like to do is stick it on my pokey tool so I can see right about the center, right about what's even or close. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but okay. And then I just kind of put it like that. And then there's my sentiment. All right. So now we're going to do this fancy part. So the first time I did this and I took off all the fringe and it just crumbled and fell apart in my hand. So what I did is I tied it in a knot. So tie this in a knot. I'm going to bring it over here. It doesn't, of course, have to be exactly in the middle, but I tied it in a knot and I made it a little knot because we need to glue this down, right? Now, the frame part, you're going to notice the lines go this way. That's where you're getting all your frays. So it's going to be one way or the other. This is the outside, so it's like if there's a sewn edge or something. It's not going to fray right there. So just keep pulling all your frays. Now they're tied, right? So you don't have to worry about it. So I'm going to turn it here and just keep pulling my frays. And all this other is going to just, it'll fall off. So at one point, you're going to see how it's starting to fall. You'll be able to tell that you can pull that off. So let's get our little fringes out. This is the fun, messy part. I wonder, I bet you could take your tool. You don't want to be too harsh on it because you want to make sure that your fringe lines stay long, right? And you can trim them to what you want, but start at the top and get your fringe and then you pull them over. And then all of this other is eventually going to come off. You got to just keep getting your fringe out though, because that's what's holding that all together. Okay, there's a lot of fringe on here. So it takes a little bit of time. So just keep pulling it out and get as much as you want. Okay. My other one was much easier. It must be that this is the other side and it's not as cooperative. But you can see that your fringes are still on there. And then this is going to start coming off. All this fuzz is going to start coming off once you get all your fringes going. Okay, so you're getting all this. We'll move to this side. See how these all come off? Just pull them down. And this is being tucked behind your project, so it's easier if you take your time, but I'm trying to hurry up on the video. So if you just take your time and pull your little fringes like a little at a time here, and then they'll just like peel right off. Oh, my dog's streaming. Can you hear them? All right, so then see how this is coming off now? See how all your fringe right here? And then just pull that off. All that fuzz. And then you'll get all that fringe. See? Now you have all that fringe. This one's not quite cooperating as much. But for sake of video, we can always just cut it off. But I'm going to try and really pull it. There we go. All right. There you go. Now it's starting. Yesterday's, it was just so easy. It just fell off, and this one side, for whatever reason, is just causing problems. All right, well, that part's going to be tucked in, so I'm not too worried about it. So we will pull our fringe right here. Pull off the fringe. And I'm just going to cut this one little piece off just for sake of video. I would probably fight with it longer if it wasn't for the video. So I pulled all that. We'll just take that one piece off. Okay, so now you have your fringe, which to me gives that little bit of a nest look. So I just kind of comb it straight, and we'll get rid of all this fuzz. I feel like I have some in my eye. All right, let me get my eye. Okay, I think I got it. All right, so now what I did is take your project. Let's get our dimensionals on. So I want the branch here tucked behind the flower, okay? You want to tuck it because you want it to look like the branch is coming from somewhere, not just stops right there. So we're going to take some glue dots. We're going to put one right on the bird's tail. Okay. And we're going to put one right on this flower right here. Okay. So we're going to take our flowers, we're going to put the branch behind and just kind of twist it so you can see both flowers, okay? And then now there's your cute little image that now has, looks like one solid image. And you could pop this one up if you want, and you could still put your flower back there, but I'm fine with this right here. So we're going to add our dimensionals. I just did one in the middle, and you're going to find, I think, let's see, I think I did another one up here because it's going over this. So right here, you're going to see, you're going to want to add an extra one here, an extra one here, extra one right there, so that everything sits really well. And you might need some glue dots, and I'll explain. When you've got the little tassel stuff behind, sometimes the dimensional will stick to it, but it's going to stick to this and not the paper. And so we'll fix that as we go. I think I'm going to add, I did add another one right here. Okay, so now let's take these off. And we're going to add our little nest right about here, and just kind of spread it apart. It doesn't have to be all gathered together. And what I did is I take a glue dot. Thanks, Becky. Yeah, I thought it just kind of reminded me a little bit of a nest, and so I thought, well, that's kind of fun. I'm going to add that on here. So I just did a glue dot, and then you know what I think I did do is I think I just did right around that. I just added so that you can kind of place this where you want. And you can trim it if you want. You can do whatever you want. I wanted some hanging down. And then you can trim it after we get it all put together. And now I brought the bird down a bit, right about there. So just kind of smush them on and leave them for a minute, and let's continue, because what's going to happen is you're going to notice that some of it stuck to this, and we'll fix it. So I'm just going to cut a little bit of this away, not a lot, because it's going to fit in your card, right? It's no big deal. And you can just kind of crinkle it up back there or whatever you want to do. I'm going to stick that little piece right there. Okay, now let's do this. Let me move all this aside. Be careful of your fudge, you'll get it on your adhesive. We're just going to put this down this side. Okay. All right, so that will be the inside of the card. And you could decorate the inside if you want to. I would do, did I do it on this one? Oh, I did. See, you can add some flowers if you want. I'm not going to on this one just because of time. And I wanted to show you that scan and cut information and the punches. Okay, so there's this. And so see how this, you can check, you can see now how this is sticking up. So I just take a glue dot and I go right underneath the fringe here, right where your dimensional is, and then just push it down. And so now the dimensional is on this, but then there's a glue dot in between. And everything else I think I did pretty good because I added extra this time. All right, we're going to add our sentiment, and then we'll add our stones. And then I did a little something else that I really think made a difference. Thanks, Janet. I'm glad you guys like it. I have a really fun class for Wednesday. So a video. Wednesday will not be a Whip It Up Wednesday because I already have a project in mind. And it is with something new out of the new upcoming catalog. But I wanted to show you because it is an alternative item that is completely different than what the stamp set, what you would think. So I'm going to do that, and that'll be a lot of fun. So I hope you'll join me on Wednesday. Okay, now we're going to do our beautiful rhinestones, and then one other thing. So what I decided to do is I added them on the flower because I really just want this to be the focal point. And these gems are so pretty that I just had to add them here because I don't want to take away from this, because otherwise you're going to want to look at those gems because they're so darn pretty. So we're just going to add a few. I added a lot because I think they're so pretty. And oops, they are just, oh my gosh, these are gorgeous. Gorgeous. All right, and then I decided, oh, I guess I should put some on the small flowers. So I just kind of added on the biggest leaves right here. And then I added one more over here. Good thing I ordered a lot of these because I ordered a lot of these. Oh, thanks, Judith. I know, Janet. There's so much. So there's that. Now what I did do is I took some Wink of Stella and I did the eye. And then I just did a little on the feathers. Not a whole lot. Oh, I got to hold it up because I don't want to squeeze. Just a little on the feathers and on the eye and on the beak. So I just kind of added just a little to sparkle them, but not a lot, because against the flowers with the rhinestones, I was like, oh, I need to, make him pop a little bit. And so I decided to sparkle him just enough. I mean, you could splatter all over this card. It's such a pretty card. You could definitely do that. So there we go. There's the card. And see, I did a little darker speckles on him there, and he's kind of light over here. And I think I might have taken the light balmy and went over just a little much. And I really like this one a little bit better. So don't be afraid to kind of like make that little face, and like where I put that line there and just kind of, do his belly different. Your first thought is to do them all the same color just because there's no line or separation. But it really does make a really fun, different look if you just kind of change them up just a little bit. So I hoped that you guys learned a little something with the scan and cut and kind of how I do multiple cards. I hope that helped you out, and that you can kind of see the same thing with a punch. Just punch out, one little template, and then punch out a lot of white, and then that way you can, just keep replacing them in your Stamparatus and stamp them up and get what you want, because it really does save a lot of time and energy, right? Thanks, you guys. Oh, so I think these are so fun. I'm really happy how this one came out with a little darker bird. I might have to add a little more to this one. So pretty. Oh, thanks, Janet. Sharon, this really is, and they don't even have to be birthday. You can put any sentiment on this. Thinking of you. I mean, it could be a sympathy card. It could be, thank you. It could be anything, which is one of these cards that I think would be so much fun to reproduce and make a bunch, which is why I have all of these made. And so this is one of those ones where I could just do. And remember, when you're doing your alcohol inks, you don't want to take your, like, let's say your purple and do all your flowers and then come back with the blue and then do them all. Remember, your colors are wanting to blend and mesh with each other. So I would recommend doing maybe 5 flowers at one time, like do all the purple, come back with all the blue, and do them all so that your colors can blend nicely, because they're going to dry. And that's the whole point with alcohol inks, is if you let them dry, and you can layer and layer and do different things, but you want these to blend a little bit. So don't do all, 220 of them or however many you're doing. Make sure that you have a small enough amount to where you can do those and then just come right back and then just keep going. That would be my recommendation. I find that to be the easiest for me, and hopefully that'll help you. Oh, you're welcome, Judith. Thanks, Deborah. Perry, you're welcome. Laura, thank you. Thanks, Olivia. I really appreciate it, you guys. So again, really quickly, bingo is the 14th of December. It is in the middle of December. I wanted it to be early enough before Christmas. This might be a really great night to take a break and have a little bit of fun and laughs. I'll get the kits in the mail to you as soon as I can. Your kits from last month went, bingo was Tuesday, they went out on Thursday, so you should be getting them. And hopefully this will be a big month again. The prizes, if we get a good enough crowd, will be $100 shopping sprees, and I do 4 of them. And so it depends on the amount of people. You can go to my blog at marciebeseckerdesigns.com, which is right here. And you can go to events and sign up right there. Thanks, Kathy. Thanks, Steph. And it is December, so there will be a little something something in your kit. So I'm excited about that. Gloria, I don't know. I was requested for days to remember, so that will be in there. And other than that, I don't know. So I have some thoughts about it. It will be annual catalog. I want it to be items that you have. I will probably choose one project to be from the new catalog. So what will happen is I'll create something and I can send you, I don't know. I want to do that, but I can't send anything out until January 4th on that. So that's probably going to be January, now that I'm thinking about that. I can't send anything out to you. So January will be new stuff. That way you guys can kind of see it and see what it's about. Thanks, Jeanne. They're a lot of fun. I really enjoy doing bingo. So yeah, Gloria, if you guys have something in mind that you'd like to see in December's bingo, let me know. Days to remember will be in there. And other than that, I don't know yet. And I haven't created days to remember yet either. So I have some fun projects planning ahead. And then January, I'll do the new mini catalog and Sale-a-bration items. So you guys can get some ideas because there is some amazing products in the new catalogs. So this is what the cover looks like, if that should give you any idea of some of the items that are in the kit, or in the catalog. So it's going to be a lot of fun. There are some amazing dies I've never seen before on how to use them. So I'm excited to use those. And then Wednesday, I have a project that will be from the new mini because I saw something immediately and wanted to do it. And it is a stamp set that you would never think to use it this way. So I want to share that with you so that you kind of have that in mind. When you look at the stamp set, you might be like, oh, I don't really need that. And then when you see this, you might change your mind. So I wanted to give you a heads up on that. It's going to be a lot of fun. All right, so that being said, of course, I would love to have you join my team. The special is only 9 more days. For $75, you can get $125 in product. Once you sign up, December 1st, you can buy the new holiday product. And so let's not call it being a demonstrator. If you don't want to be a demonstrator, you don't have to. You could be a hobby shopper. So be a hobby shopper, get your 20% discount, get some fun projects, get to see the new product early, order early, and just have fun with it. And you will be a current demonstrator, hobby shopper through the end of March. April being your grace period. So you really have through the end of April to get a discount. If you make your quota, you stay on and you continue your discount, you're going to get to see the new big catalog coming up, because then we're talking April, May, and June. July being your grace period, we will get to see the new catalog May, June-ish. So just keep that in mind. It's totally worth it. Hi, Debbie. We are just finishing up. Yep. Thanks to Shauna. Have a great day. All right, everybody. That is what I have to say. If you have any ideas for December bingo that you'd like to see, maybe a stamp set that you have that you haven't seen used, or you want some new ideas or something, let me know. I will be starting to work on the bingo this week. So have a great Thanksgiving. Oh, I'll be here Wednesday. I'll see you guys Wednesday. Hopefully, I know it's a busy day with Thanksgiving, but I hope you'll come back and say hi, leave a message. And if you come back and leave a message on my bingo, not my bingo, on Wednesday's video, I'm going to say today's video. On today's video, if you come back and leave a message on today's video, on Wednesday, I will give away one of these cutters. Okay, I will give away one of these tear and tape cutters. They're not from Stampin' Up, but it's something that I have. And I will give that away on Wednesday. I'll do a drawing for comments left after the video. You have to come back and leave a comment, okay? All right, everybody, I will see you Wednesday. Have a great rest of your week. I'm going to go decorate my tree. Bye.